Happy Monday, everyone. Bryan Devore, Devore Realty Group, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, California Properties. Next Monday market moment of the year. We've already done one, and now we're going to do some predictions as we talked about last week. Plus, it's been a wild start to 2024. So let's first talk about how it's been a wild start, and then we'll get into some of the predictions. Looking at the total stats, right now we have 2,582 homes for sale throughout San Diego County. It's a big increase of 164 from last week. We saw a lot of people putting their homes on the market. We'll find out how many in just a moment. Median list price 967. That's down from last week. Average days on market down a whopping 9 days. So 56 days on the market is the average for the homes that are on the market currently. Pending sales down 163 to 1,555. So kind of interesting. Active listings are up 164. Pending sales are down almost the same amount. Median list price $799.9. That is down from last week. Average days on market 33. That's up 2 days from last week. Months of inventory is on the rise a little bit. 1.89 months of inventory. Last week it was 1.76, so it's definitely going up just a little bit. We'll see if that's going to be the norm or is that just a 1 week anomaly. Here's the chart that shows total actives and total pendings, and you can see the trend line was definitely going down over the last couple months for total actives, and it's starting to go back up again. Again, 1 week anomaly or the new trend. Same for pendings has been going down the last few weeks also. All right, here's the big one. Since last week, we saw 611 homes come on the market. It's an increase of 400 from the week before. We still had New Year's, so there's still a holiday in there, but we saw a huge jump in the number of people putting their homes on the market. Maybe a lot of people were just holding off and waiting and then decided to get in while they thought that the getting was good. Median list price $924, $999. It's an increase from last week. New pendings 169, also up, but only 22 from last week. Median list price $824, $999, up over last week. Average days on market, though, down 5 days to 35 days. So the homes that went pending last week were only on the market for 35 days compared to 40 days for the ones the week before. New pendings listed within the last week, 21, and new pendings listed within the last 2 weeks, 56. So we had been around 5% of homes selling within a week or less. Last week it was 12%, so that was a big jump. And we saw last week about 25% of homes were selling in 2 weeks or less, but it was about a third this week were homes selling faster. So it looks like even though we saw a bunch of homes come on the market, the ones that went into escrow were selling pretty quickly. Since last week, we saw 265 homes close escrow. That's an increase of 55 from last week. And, closings, we look at the holiday because you can't close on a holiday. Escrow, the county recorder's office is closed. So even though we still had a holiday last week with New Year's, it was still a big jump of 55 from the week before when we had Christmas. Median list price $850,000, down from last week. Median sales price no change, $860,000. So even though the median list price went down, the median sales price was the same. Average days on market 25, one fewer day. Least expensive sale was in Vista, $145,000. La Jolla had the most expensive sale, $6,870,000. And that was actually a 5,000 square foot condo. Interesting property. So here's the chart showing new actives, new pendings, and new closed sales. What jumps out at you? That crazy number of the new actives jumped way up over the last several weeks. Pendings much lower, but closed sales was up, which was good to see. Here is the chart showing median list price and median sales price, still kind of bouncing around where we have been. All right, talk about predictions. So Stephen Thomas, in his most recent San Diego report on housing, put out his predictions. And he based his predictions on the chances of the economy cooling. And that really affects what home sales will be all about. So he had 3 different scenarios. If the economy cools during the spring, then this is the scenario. And he figures about 50% chance of this happening. Interest rates will drop between to 6 to 6.5% when the economy cools, and expect rates to fall below 5% during the second half of the year. Active inventory will only get to about 3,000 homes at the peak in the summertime. Demand will be strong throughout the year. It'll heat up as the summer heats up, and multiple offers and bidding wars will be the norm. Closed sales, he figures, will increase by 14 to 21%. Home values will rise between 4 to 7% for the entire year. All right, the next scenario, economy cools during the summer, so a little bit later in the year. He figures about a 45% chance, so almost as much chance as the previous scenario, but not quite. He figures interest rates will bump between 6.5% and 7%, 7.5% for the first 5 months or so. It'll drop to between 6 and 6.5% when the economy cools and inflation eases. It'll actually go below 5%, he figures, at the end of the year. Active inventory will reach about 3,500 homes, so more than in the previous scenario. Demand, again, will be overall strong. It'll pick up substantially during the summer market when rates drop, and multiple offers and bidding wars will be the norm. Closed sales, he figures, increase of 12 to 18%, and home values will rise between 1 to 4% in this scenario. Very little chance, he figures, for the economy cooling during the fall. So he really thinks it's going to either be spring or summer. Very little chance for fall. But if it does, interest rates will drop to between 6 and 6.5% and will remain above 6% for the year. Active inventory will get to 4,000 homes, but still much lower. 4,000 is still way lower than pre-COVID. So even in this scenario, still lower inventory than we had seen. Demand will be sluggish through most of the year, but it'll increase as rates do come down. Buyers will not be willing to stretch much above the purchase price all year in this case. He figures closed sales will increase 10 to 14% and home values up 1 to 4%. So again, 3 different scenarios. Not sure which one will happen yet. We'll have to watch and see how the economy is doing and see how his predictions correspond to what happens in the economy. That's it for this week's Monday Market Moment. Don't forget to scan the QR code to track your home's value. If you have any questions, give me a call, send me a text. I'd be happy to help in any way I can. Have a great week. I look forward to seeing you next Monday in the next Monday Market Moment.
Thanks for watching Monday Market Moment with Bryan Devore. To request a transcript of this week's report, send an email to brian@devorerealtygroup.com.